Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We are excited to feature a new tool to bring Sage 100 Contractor to the cloud, the Accordant Web Portal. Our presenters today are Michael Fiducia and Wes Adams from Accordant Company. Just a few notes before we get started. Everyone is muted for a clean listening experience. If you have questions, please type them into the questions box, and we will do our best to address them at the end of the session. For the best visual experience, please maximize your screen. This webinar is being recorded, and the link will be emailed out to everybody later on today. I will now turn it over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Krista. Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Fiducia with the Accordant Company. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy days today to sit with us for the next half hour and take a look at what we have for you in the Accordant Web Portal for Sage 100 Contractor. So just some quick introductions. Again, my name is Mike. I'm the Director of Sales here at Accordant. And my focus really is empowering our customers who are contractors, real estate developers, to grow and succeed through using modernized cloud ERP solutions and make the most out of their existing investments in products like Sage 100 Contractor. And on the line with us also is Wes Adams, the developer of the Accordant Web Portal, who is a longtime Sage certified consultant and developer of web portals, apps, and lots of different custom reporting tools. So we're excited to show you what we have here today, and we're really going to spend most of our time in the product instead of flag waving and going through slides. So with that, I am going to jump right into the software. So, and even actually before we get into the software, one thing I do want to say is, my job, in my capacity here at Accordant, every day I talk to our customers and prospective customers about their business and some of their needs and struggles that they have, running their operations. And one thing that they always need is a way to get important, vital information in their employees' hands that are in the field, right? Without having to either have a remote desktop connection or something like that. Also a tool that does not break the bank, right? So having a tool that is tied to project revenue, right, can be prohibitive for some of our customers. So that's what we've really taken in over here at Accordant and put into the product that we're going to see here today. So one thing I do want to mention is that the Accordant Web Portal does not require any additional licenses of Sage 100 Contractor. So when someone is logged into the portal, it does not use a Sage 100 Contractor license, right? So your existing investment in Sage 100 Contractor can remain the same. But the Accordant Web Portal is an unlimited user model, right? So you can give it to as many of your field employees and office employees as needed without needing any additional 100 licenses. So bringing your Sage 100 Contractor to the cloud, what does that mean, right? We now have web access to Sage 100 Contractor that is connected to your Sage 100 Contractor database. And what's really special about this integration is that we have the ability to read and write to any field in Sage 100 Contractor, whether that is a client, that is a notes field, schedule of values, any field that we have in 100, we can virtually read or write to. So I'm going to go through some product introduction, and this is going to be a very high-level introduction. I hope out of this we get to schedule some one-on-one so we can go a bit more in depth into the product, but really to give everybody an introduction to the platform today. So the Accordant Web Portal can be accessed on any device. It is device agnostic and screen responsive. So whether you are on a laptop like I am on today, or you are on a tablet or a smartphone, the screen will make the most out of the real estate that it has available. So everyone that you're going to give access to in the Accordant Web Portal will get login credentials. So when they go to your given instance site, you will enter your username and password and then log in. First thing that we're greeted by is some nice visual dashboards, okay? By the way, too, the data that is available on the dashboards can be locked down by user and specific users as well, right? So there is some data that we don't want some of our field employees to see, we can certainly lock that down. Charts that I'm presented, these can all be changed by different views, right? So right now on the top left-hand corner we have Open AP by job. We can switch that over to Open AP by vendor, and any one of these charts we can also download as a file, right? So if I want to download this as later on, I have availability to do that right here. Okay. And just while we're kind of talking about accessibility, right? So I'm putting this into an iPhone view, right? So as we see now, the charts have shrunk, and I am looking at this and what would be the size of an iPhone 6, 7, or 8. Okay. So we'd be able to scroll, and if we go over, let's look at, let's say, an iPad size screen, we get the same benefits, and no matter what orientation you're looking at, the screen will adhere to it. But I'm going to switch back over to the laptop view for our presentation. So up top, you will notice our menu bar, right? So if you have multiple data folders in Sage 100 Contractor, we can connect to all the data folders available, okay, and then lock down security by company. And we have the info center, which we can access AP, AR, and equipment information. Our project center, where we can view specific project information, apps that we have built, things like daily field report, RFI, subcontracts and submittals, payroll, and time entry, right? So lots of different ways to enter time into the system. We're not just pigeonholed into either manually collecting from the field or just punch in, punch out, or daily field reporting. We have a few different ways to enter time into the first in. Service center coming soon. We will have a service module that's a portal, right, where we can schedule out our work orders, and techs will be able to complete them in our back office. Where we manage our users, and then support, where we can enter support tickets. And so we'll go through each one throughout the next 23 minutes. So what I want to do now is move over to the info center. So your people in the field, right? So let's say your PM's on a job site. They're meeting with some of the subcontractors on the job. They can easily access all the AP invoices in the system right from here. Okay, we get that same chart view right at the top, and then down below we have a list of open AP invoices. We also have a search bar that we can type in, and let's say that we want to find Ellis Lumber invoices, right? So I type in Ellis, and then I see all of the invoices from Ellis Lumber. And looking at the grid, right, we have the record number, the vendor name, the invoice number, the job that it's for, the invoice date, the amount, if anything has been paid to date, the balance due, and then we also have notes that we can add. So this notes field, when it's blue, that means there are no notes currently recorded. But let's go ahead and record notes on this one, and notes from webinar. I go ahead and save that, and now that green, it has turned green, letting me know that there is a note available on this record. Okay. Coming soon, we will also have the ability to send payment through the portal. And Wes, maybe if you just want to hop in for 1 second and kind of just share a little bit about how this process is going to work for our customers.
Sure. So this is Wes Adams. So my thoughts were here and wanted to get some collaboration with clients that may be wanting to use this. Was the idea here is you go into Sage, you cut your checks, but you don't print them. You don't do anything with them. You log into the portal. You send your payment information with one click to your vendor subcontractors. They will get an email with, you're getting ready to receive a digital check. Here's what we're paying on your remittance. We'll have an integration with checkbook.io, which is just a mechanism a website to send digital checks. Now, your vendor the first time will receive an email saying you have a digital check from whatever your company name is for this amount. They will create an account. They'll add their preferred method of payment, whether that's via ACH, where they'll deposit it directly into their bank account, maybe a virtual card, something like that, where you don't have to maintain your vendor payment information. The second time or subsequent times, the checkbook IO integration will remember how they want to be paid, and basically they will be paid, just an ACH transfer, but you don't have to maintain any of that information. All that will go through this through the web portal and the integration with checkbook. There'll be a small transaction fee to handle the wire transfer, the ACH payment for that, but you don't have to print checks, you don't have to stuff envelopes, you don't have to buy postage. So I'm happy to answer any questions after that, but I'll leave it back to you, Mike.
Perfect. Thanks, Wes. So that's going to be an awesome feature that's going to be available, especially now. I'm not sure if any of our customers on the call still have some of their employees working remotely, but that's a huge benefit, whether it's your operations staff or your accounting staff that is working remotely at the time being. Giving them the power to send payment outside of the office is really powerful. So moving over to accounts receivable in the info center, pretty much the same type of view, right? We have all of our open receivables here with our invoice total, retention, amount paid, and balance as well. So this is great, when you're having your collection calls and meetings to be able to pull this up from anywhere and have this data available at your fingertips. Same type of notifications on the right. If there are notes, green; no notes, blue. We also have the ability to look up any clients in our database as well right from here. And if you do own the equipment module in Sage 100 Contractor, we can also see a log of our equipment and then any revenue or costs that have been recorded on that equipment as well. Now moving over to the project center, here's where we can see a list of all of our jobs in the system, which can be locked down by project manager if you are using that job access field in Sage 100 Contractor. So if a PM or super is logging into the portal, they would then only see the jobs that are applied to their records. So here we have a job list of everything, right? So we can drill into a specific job and then view any information for that job available right from this screen, much like we can in 100 today. What's also great is that we can view a job summary of every job, right? Where we get our contract amounts, approved change orders, revised contract, total billed, retention, and so on. Now, what's awesome is that we have some reports already built into the platform, right? So if I want a job and AR summary report, I click that, and if I look at it across all my jobs, right, I'll see a list of everything, or we can run this job specific. But again, we get that same type of job report, and then we also get an AR summary available as well, broken down by job. Okay, and then we get totals at the end. This too can be printed if needed. We can also separate just the job summary from the AR summary as well. There's also a full audit trail of every activity within the portal that is available too with the right security. So going back over to the job list, one thing I'm going to do, I want to go and look at one of these projects, right? So if I go over to the Williams Post Office job, I then see all those very similar icons plus some more that we have on the job record, right? So on our job records in 100 today, we get our contacts, which by the way, don't need to be manually entered. We can pre-fill a project directory from any subcontracts that were selected on this job, right? So then we can look at the subcontract records and pre-fill a project directory. Any bid items, we have our AR summary for this specific job right here. RFIs, subcontracts, POs, change order submittals, daily field reports, photos, punch lists, and charts for this project as well. So not only do we have the ability to read things like RFIs from Sage 100 Contractor, we can also create brand new ones right from the portal as well, right? So we don't need to make manual notes for us to go back into the office at the end of the day or whenever we get there during the week and put the actual RFI into 100. We have the ability to create it right from here, which by the way is real-time synced to Sage 100 Contractor. So it's not on a scheduled, sync. When a new record or change is entered in the portal, it automatically updates Sage 100 Contractor. So I can go ahead and create one for us right here just to show you. So I can say that this is webinar test. Me in 100. I click submit. Right, so I now see that I have a new RFI right on this log. But if I go over to Sage 100 Contractor and I go to RFIs, instantaneously that RFI is logged for me in Sage 100 Contractor. Okay, so it's a real-time sync to your database. Okay, and then obviously we get the ability to add even more detail in that RFI as needed. Let me just go back to Project Center. Bear with me one sec. So those are RFIs, all of our subcontracts. We have the ability to view them as well as edit any subcontract with the right permissions, okay? And anywhere where there is transaction, right, we get to then see the detail of this, right? Contract amounts, balances, and so on. So again, really just enhancing the visibility in the field without having to make emails and get the information as needed. PM can simply come in here and view these subcontracts as needed, right? All the header information on our subcontract, as well as any schedule value items as well. Same goes for purchase orders. Purchase orders we can actually create right in the field, right? So we have the ability to create a new PO right from here, view it, add notes, print it, download it, whatever we need to do. Change orders. So any change orders that were entered in the system are viewable from here. We will soon have the ability to also create change orders from the field as well. Daily field reports. This is really one of the most valuable tools I think in here that our customers ask for every day is, the time collection process from the field and how does that get reported back to the office. We could do that right through a daily field report. You can go ahead, create one. It'll automatically select the job, being that we're already on this job record. Select the date. It'll pre-fill today's date. Go ahead, enter your details, things like the employees that are working, any subs that were on the job, photos, meetings, incidents, and so on. So all that will pre-fill. So we can save this, entering time employees. So you can also, we also have the ability to generate crews, right? So we can go ahead, select some employees, select the cost codes that they worked on, how many hours, and go ahead and save that. And then just move through the workflow, or we can pivot here through the top tabs as well, okay? If there are any purchase order requests needed, typically that's done on these daily field reports as well. We can add those, and then photos. So if there were any photos from site conditions or work completed throughout the day, we can go ahead and add those. And if you're using a mobile device, you have the ability to choose from your library or take a photo as you're creating the report as well. Okay. And then we can go ahead and submit this through Sage, right? And same, just like with our RFIs, that will go ahead and create the corresponding daily field report in Sage 100 Contractor. Okay, so just to, again, show you that real-time sync, go over to document control, go to daily field reports, go to my last one. Here's the daily with time entered for these 3 employees. Now moving through, looking at some of the apps, here is where we can go ahead, and do any one of these tasks that at the time are job agnostic, right? So it's not for a specific job. We can view all daily field reports right here, edit them, view them, print them, whatever we need to do. We get a chart with our daily field reports by status as well. Same thing goes for punch lists, POs, RFIs, subcontracts, and submittals. Okay. So next thing I want to cover is payroll, right? And different ways to get time entered into the system. So here's if we want to go ahead and enter time for employees either across multiple jobs or for a specific job. So we can go ahead, add a time card, who's entering it, select the period, right? So we can do this week. Then we can go ahead and start filling in the details of this time card, okay? We can add crew members to the time card. So we can go ahead and start typing in some of our crew members. Add them to our time card. Then what we want to do is add our job codes, okay? So what jobs can we enter time for? And specific phases or specific cost codes. Okay. Then we have the ability to either enter daily time or weekly time. Okay. These 2 can pre-fill from the daily field reports that we already entered, right? So if we had, I didn't have it for any of these employees here, but if any time for an employee that was entered today can pre-fill here, or we can go ahead and do a weekly time entry as well. So if I go ahead and do weekly, go ahead and select the members from my crew, the job, the cost code, pay type, and then we can put in everyone's hours for the week. Oh, not 88, that would be a little generous. Okay. And just selecting the field since I had selected that earlier. And just like that, I have all of my time entered for 3 employees for the entire week within less than a minute. Okay. Other ways to enter time is also employee and job, right? So we can go for each employee and put it in a grid fashion. Or look at it at a specific job level and all those employees for the job and go ahead and enter this through the grid as well. Then we can go ahead and run this through an approval process. So maybe your super foreman is the one that is entering the time, and that's going to get routed to a PM for approval. Once the PM approves it, maybe then it goes to the payroll admin for final approval before it winds up in Sage 100 Contractor. So we can build in those workflows with you. Okay, so I could select one, submit it for approval. Okay. So just wrapping up, we have a couple minutes left. I want to leave a few minutes for questions. Service Center, we could take a look at the service schedule. So I believe, Wes, that data, if we go to the calendar view, these are mostly in what, June 19? Going back a little bit.
Yeah, it's old data.
Oh, but we could see at a calendar view which techs were scheduled for the work orders for the week, right? And we can look at this in a month view, a week view, or a day view. Okay. Company settings. This is again where we manage our users, employees. We'll soon have onboarding available too. From an HR perspective, being able to add forms, and that, I'm sorry, would be in the payroll module, but for company settings, we can send onboarding directions as a new user within the portal, right? So login credentials, a link for them to reset their password, and so on. And then our support tab. Here is where you can enter a support ticket. Really simple and streamlined. Go ahead, type in your issue, and then go ahead and submit that. Okay. So we can create a new issue, or we could select one, I believe, from a list that's already populated. And then product ideas, which we can navigate here or just switch over from that live help desk. But here's where we want to listen to our customers, right? So if you have any ideas for the portal, suggestions that you would like to share, you can go ahead and post these in the portal, and then other users will be able to vote on them as well as comment on them. Okay, and then we'll take some of those top idea requests and go ahead and add those to our roadmap for the portal. So again, really high level overview of the product. There's more time we can spend going through specific workflows and showing you. We'd love to do that with you. But I do want to leave a couple minutes for questions here. Krista, did we have any come through?
None so far. If you do have questions, type them in. We'll be happy to answer. None coming in, Mike. You must have covered everything.
Just that good, right? So the last thing I do want to cover is pricing, right? Obviously, it's a nice tool, but what does this product cost? So for our guests that are joining us today, those that have registered and attended, we have a special promotion for you. So the typical pricing for the portal, again, unlimited users, does not require an additional license of Sage 100 Contractor. It is priced at $500 per month with an annual commitment. But for our attendees and registrants today, we are offering it at $375 per month, which is a 25% discount, and you will get that pricing for a year. Okay. So if you would like to take advantage of this promotion, the orders would have to be placed by the end of the month. Okay. So after this meeting, I'll reach out to everybody, and our other team members will, and go over pricing and any questions and produce quotes for you, but as well as schedule any other presentations that would like to be held.
Mike, we did have a few questions come in, if you have a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. First question is there a signature space in the daily field logs?
We don't. I'm sorry, go ahead, Wes.
That's right. Yeah. So right now there's not, but I could easily add that. We do have a signature capability. I would just need to add it to that daily field report. So that would not be a difficult thing.
Great. Okay. Next question is, will you have screen color options?
Good question. Nobody's ever asked me that one. I think we could probably do that. As in, I guess the question would be the color of the background of the blue bar, with each module. I'm just curious.
We're asking like a dark screen mode.
Oh, dark screen mode. I got you. I think we could probably do that as well. I'd have to research that one, so I can get back to the questioner on that one.
Okay, great. Next question. Can you comment on the requirements to have a cloud-based system? For example, is the database physically in the office? Is it in the cloud? If mine is in the office, what needs to be changed? Yeah, so we're reading directly from your database. So all we would need to do is open up a firewall port. Generally with SQL Server, you assign a static port, do your routing rules, and then you would add a IP exclusion to your server so that it would exclude my server. We're hosted on Amazon Web Services, so it would be a direct read.
but that would be it. It's just open up the firewall rule, open up a secure connection, and then we can read your data directly. Doesn't matter if it's inside your office or on Swissnet or in any other hosted cloud provider.
Okay, next question is, if your Sage 100 is hosted on a remote data center such as Swissnet, what benefit would it give to the client?
Well, you have web-based access. You don't have to log into Sage 100 Contractor to get at, to see your data or to interact with your data. And again, another unlimited user that can use the portal. So you don't have a use of Sage 100 Contractor.
Right, or Swissnet to that point too, right? So for every login for Swissnet, there is a cost to that. So that eliminates any additional investment on Swissnet needed for cloud hosting. And it's also just a much different look and feel. This is a modern cloud platform, a lot different than the entry screens than we're used to in Sage 100 Contractor, which just feels overall more user-friendly and gives a better user experience.
Okay, the next question is, do project photos print with the daily reports, or are they only viewed within the system?
They are on the daily report. They do print on the daily report.
Okay, great. And then another question, we are billed by user on Swissnet. So if we have your service module, does that change our limited user capabilities with Swissnet?
So I'm sorry, I need to understand the question a little bit better. If you have the service module, does that what again? I'm sorry? If
we have your service module, does that change our limited user capabilities with Swissnet?
No, it doesn't change any capabilities with Swissnet. It just then gives you access, unlimited user access through the portal. It doesn't change anything on Swissnet. What you might be able to do is reduce the amount of users that you have on Swissnet if your employees would then be able to perform their tasks directly through the portal, right? They may not necessarily need to log in through Swissnet, so you can potentially reduce your overall user count with Swissnet.
Okay, the next question is, can you reduce the number of Sage licenses you need to purchase if only a small number of people will have access to the live system?
Absolutely. So, if there are users in your Sage 100 Contractor environment that are entering transactions, right, especially accounting transactions, they're going to need a license, right? But if you have project managers that would go in and do things like enter change orders or daily field reports, that can all be done through the Accordant Web Portal and does not require a license of 100. So you can absolutely really economize on the Sage 100 Contractor investment and get the benefits of the unlimited user model with the Accordant Web Portal.
Okay, and then last question, well, two more questions. When do you plan to roll out the service functions?
I would want, so it does not take long to develop those new features. I would like to have conversations with clients to see exactly what they want, collaborate with them, and build that functionality up very quickly. It literally, if we have some subscribers for the service side, it doesn't take but a week or two to actually build this functionality. Since it's a direct feed into Sage, so just want to know the details of exactly how you want that service to work, and I'll build it.
Okay, great. Tim, we will follow up with you after the webinar for sure on that. And then the final question is, can you go through pricing one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So pricing, standard pricing is $500 a month with an annual 12-month commitment, okay? So it would be $6,000 for the year, but we break that into $500 monthly payments. For everyone attending the webinar today, we have a special promotion which will lock you in at $375 per month for 12 months. Okay, and that pricing is available through the end of this month. The last business day of this month is the 29th.
Okay, that is all the questions we have. So if you do have further questions or something didn't get answered enough, we will definitely follow up with you after the webinar. The recording will be sent out to everybody later today if you want to rewatch it. And thank you everyone for attending. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.